This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, here on the eve of October the 18th, 2022. And I have a three-time guest, a special effects artist, Mr. Joe Castro. How do you do, Joe?
Hi, Greg. How you doing, brother? Is it
I don't know.
cold up there?
Huh?
Is it cold up there in Canada?
It's getting there, but we can handle it. Unlike you California people who can't handle it.
Yeah,
I love it what you guys find cold.
it's actually sunny outside today. It's actually hot. I wore shorts
Yeah?
today. Yeah.
Yeah?
That's warm out there.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
good.
yeah?
Yeah. Good
Well,
stuff.
you can get quite a bit lower in your region, and we're still wearing shorts and t-shirt, and you're
That's
like,
true. Yeah,
oh,
I know. Yeah,
cold,
you run around in
cold.
the snow in your shorts. I get it.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
We mark our territory by pissing in the snow so we know where we are. We never get lost.
When was it? The last time I was up there, it was beautiful, overcast. It was like perfect weather. It was for Shock Stock, the film festival, Shock Stock.
Yeah.
And, everywhere I looked, it just reminded me of David Cronenberg.
He's one of our heroes here in Canada.
I felt as though I was literally in a David Cronenberg movie.
There you go. Yeah. That can be weird being in one of his movies.
Ooh, it was so cool. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Cronenberg movie?
Absolutely, I do. My favorite Cronenberg film is Rabbit.
Rabbit. Okay.
The movie's so good.
Not bad. I've done an interview from Scanners, and I've done an interview from Shivers and Crash, and maybe some others of his, but not coming immediately to mind. But yeah, I have talked to people from some of his movies. But I got It Wants Blood on Blu-ray, and I didn't know so many doctors worked on this movie. I know that this movie was made and financed by doctors because I can't understand a fucking signature on this. Did you sign this?
I did not sign that. No.
Oh, well, then you're not a doctor.
Yeah.
And if James Balsamo is one of the signatures, I fear anybody that goes under the knife by him. I think James is one of them. Though they got two Greg, I know that. But look, all these scribbles there. Who are those?
Oh, I'm not. Maybe Bill and Seth.
I don't know, but I'll tell you. I bet you I know what happened. I bet James went to a hospital and went up to it every doctor he come to, and he said, "Hey, just sign this," and that's what they did. Scribble across it. I could see James doing that too. But I know you're still working with James on some projects.
Not at the moment. Right now, I'm working. Right now, we have the world premiere of Appetite for Sin. That's directed by Matthew Vanaha. That's coming up this coming Saturday night here in Hollywood, California. And it's Matthew's first feature film. And I actually star in the movie. I'm one of the stars of the film. I play a FBI detective trying to stop a gang of vampire women. And then we'll also have the world premiere tomorrow night here in Hollywood, California, of Sophia. She's gonna kill me. I don't know how to pronounce it.
The Once a Future Smash.
Yeah, it's Sophia Cosciola, and Michael J. Epstein's movie. Also, Neil Jones is also a producer on the film, The Once and Future Smash. Also, End Zone 2, that's happening. And of course, we have Terror Tunes Part 4, where we're having the world premiere November the 11th here in North Hollywood, California. And just a whole bunch of amazing stuff happening this coming next couple of weeks. But also, I got the Mutilator 2. Did you ever see the original Mutilator? It's a 1984 feature.
I have not.
Big cult hit.
I have heard of it. Yeah.
I was honored to do create all the special effects for the sequel. I was actually recommended for the job by the special effects artist that did the original special effects for the film. So that was a real honor and a privilege. Mark Shostrom, and let's see what else. Oh, just so many. Oh, you got That's a Pretty Boy, directed by Marcel Waltz. It's coming out, and That's a Wrap will have its. Oh wait, when is That's a Wrap is going to have its Hollywood world premiere on November the 8th, I believe, or maybe it's the 9th here in Hollywood. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. Yeah, lots of movies, and I'm also working with Brandon Miller on his new movie called Saint Drago. We're going to be shooting all the special effects for the film in December, and then of course you got Pig Killer. Have you ever heard of the Pig Killer? And that's have you ever heard of Willie Pickman?
Nope.
I think it was right on the border of Canada and America, where he had a pig ranch, and he would throw these raves in like late 90s, early 2000s, and he would rape and murder women, and then he'd put them in a wood chipper and feed them to his pigs. It's a true story. So there was a whole feature made about it. It's called The Pig Killer, and then of course we're getting ready to shoot Scalper, which is the sequel to Chad Farron's movie. Oh my goodness! Nightcaller, which is out right now. Nightcaller is out right now with Bai Ling and Jake Busey, and just a whole slew of name talent in that film. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff.
Let's talk about Mutilator too. I mean, you got Terry Kaiser in that, which is a name. Talk about Mutilator too, because I've heard of Mutilator, but it's one that just kind of passed me by.
Yeah,
Why so late in the game for a sequel to this?
Well, it's the second movie the director made. I don't think it's late in the game. I think it's just right on time, to be honest with you. The director made a cult hit. The first one is a big cult hit. If you haven't seen it and you're a horror fan, then your education in the world of horror is incomplete. And so what you need to do is you need to watch The Mutilator. And The Mutilator 2 is made by the same director as the first one. And he brought back some of the cast of the original film. And there's a lot of great deaths in the movie, and it has a lot of name talent in the film. And that's pretty much all I can say right now.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, real hush hush on that. So yeah, it's a big budget, way bigger budget than the first film. And we spent 17 days just doing the kills. So
there you go.
I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. It's not, I wouldn't really consider it, it may be a low budget film. It's not really a micro budget film like James's movies. It's kind of like, it's got a really decent budget. They really, they gave me like 3 months to prepare for all the effects. They flew in an assistant for me, and had put us both up. And we actually built a special effects lab on set in North Carolina when we were doing the effects for the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real honor and a real treat to have that kind of skill set and time to do everything correctly. So I'm looking forward to showing everybody the effects.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I discovered the Once and Future Smash, and I got to say, looking at this, I can't believe how many people I've interviewed from this film, before I even seen it. Michael St. Michael's, Bill Whedon, Victor Miller's listed here, Adam Marcus, Mark Torgo, Melanie Kinnaman, Mark Scheffler, John Dugan. That's one's listed right here on the front row here. That's 8 people I've interviewed from this movie. And I talked to Michael St. Michael's and Bill Whedon a little bit about this earlier. But I want to know more, especially when you got Melanie Kinnaman in it. I mean, she's gorgeous. What can you tell me about this film? And how crazy was it to work with Bill and Michael?
Well, I'm actually in the film as well, and I got to create the killer for the movie. But it's kind of all it's a documentary horror styled film, the ones that
Mm-hmm.
smash. And it pairs with a movie called End Zone 2, which is kind of like a lost film from the 70s, and has it's basically a slasher film from the 70s. So it's really the kind of film that you cannot describe. You have to see it in order to
Oh, I
understand.
want to see it.
You have to see it to understand it. But I'm looking forward. To be honest with you, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to see it for the first time tomorrow here in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard at the Screamfest show. I'm looking forward to seeing it tomorrow night.
I want to see Melanie Kinnaman. But yeah, I watched the trailer for it, and I'm like, yeah, that's Michael St. Michael's. That's
I'm just
Bill
on,
Whedon.
I'm just honored to be in a movie and working in a film with so much name talent, and I'm very grateful to Michael and Sophia and Neil for bringing me on board the project and believing in me to make the title character for the film.
I was in touch with Sevilla, but we never followed up. I should get the three of them on here and really have a drag out chat about this film, and
I want to be able to talk more about it. I know there's a lot of secrecy behind it. It's one of these movies that's so truly original that it's going to be I think it's going to be a challenge to get people to see it because it's so truly original. People like, what's it about? What is this thing? And it just does not follow any rules or guidelines like most horror movies today. I mean, even these mockubuster movies that our friends make. You got the serial killer with the crazy mask on, running around killing people one by one. Only to die at the end of the film and then come pop back up, or then you got some of our friends that make these they're called mockubusters, where they kind of make fun of actual blockbuster movies, with their titles and whatnot. This is not like that at all. This is a pure, truly original piece of work, and it follows its own rules, and I believe it's like literally 2 hours of pure entertainment from beginning to end. It has no fluff in it. There's no fluff in this film. There's no like long drawn out shots of someone walking through the woods in the dark, or a long shot of someone creeping around a house with a flashlight. It has none of that stuff in it.
okay. Well, I know you also completed Clown Motel 2.
That was done quite a while back, actually. I think we
Oh,
had
was it?
that was done. I want to say at least a year and a half ago, and they had the premiere about a year ago.
You
Here
see, we didn't get that here, so
okay,
yeah, because
but it just came out. It just was released, I think, to streaming, so it's available now for streaming. Yeah,
okay,
those are
'cause
good people, Joseph Kelly and Dave Bailey, and all the people that put that together. And yeah, it's a real honor to work with those guys. I love the original Clown Motel. If you haven't seen the original Clown Motel, I suggest you watch it. It's instant cult hit. Also pure entertainment. I loved it. And Clown Motel 2 has Eileen Dietz in it, which is one of my favorite gals here in Hollywood. I love her.
I've interviewed her twice.
She's Hollywood horror royalty from The Exorcist. And yeah, those guys are great to work. But Joseph Kelly is also involved in one of the producers on Appetite for Sin that has the premiere this weekend. So if you haven't heard of Appetite for Sin, it's going to be a good movie. It's going to be it's going to be a great movie because I have one of the lead roles in the film, but I also get to do the special effects for it. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, I know you got a lot of stuff with either post-production in currently filming or whatnot. You got a lot of that on IMDb. And I know I told you that we would talk about what you're currently doing. So we need to establish here what you're currently doing that we're allowed to talk about.
That's a
So
good question. That's a good question.
now let's go into something that you're doing some really cool effects work for, that you have some verbiage right now where you can go into lengths about.
I'd love to be. You know what? I'm actually going to pull up my IMDb to see what I'm working on, to see if I can see like just see what I can talk about. I have so much on my plate at the moment that
Mm-hmm.
it would be. Let me see. I'm actually, like I said, pulling up my filmography right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's going on. It says here, oh my gosh. Oh, Country Club. Country Club, right here. Country Club.
There
Country
you go.
Country Club is a movie that's directed by Shane Bradford and it's made out in Texas by a whole bunch of my Texas film family. And it's basically a homegrown country slasher movie with all the things you think come with country slasher, barbecues and blood and hunting and guns and everything you find in Texas that is dark and horror like, and they're just wrapping up post production for that. But I've done a couple of really cool effects in this film that are
Okay.
absolutely disturbing, like disgusting. Like it makes me even ick when I see it. And the producers allowed me to go back in and like finesse it a little bit. I like to I wanted to even take it to the next step and make it even a little bit grosser by adding like flies and maggots and stuff onto my work to make it even more disgusting. Like there's nothing grosser than seeing a dead animal out in the wild when it's rotting. And that's the kind of feel I gave the effects of that movie when I did them. Like actually seeing a dead animal out in the wild rotting. What do you think about that?
There you go. Oh,
Yeah.
I like it. It's country club instead of a camp like in some of these movies. You get a country club. It's like a slasher version of Caddyshack, so to speak.
It's kind of like Motel Hell meets the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't want to say it's kind of like that. So it's out in Texas. They shot it in Texas, and there's a barbecue involved. How about that? And then of course I have Name the Demon, which is a movie that I really can't talk too much about that, but it's directed by Carmela Camara, and we did it up in Chicago, and it's a new twist on The Exorcist, basically, and that's all I really can say about that.
Okay.
Then of course there's That's a Wrap, which is directed by Marcel Waltz, and that was just finished up. We just finished that up like I don't know a couple of months ago. They already have a cut of the film, and it looks amazing. And yeah, what can I say about it? How these directors are. They want you to keep everything quiet until the movie comes out.
Yeah.
But some really cool effects in the movie. Also, Tin Roof. I worked on Tin Roof with Rebecca Reinhardt and Rob.
Oh, yep. I'm familiar with her.
Yeah, and she is a great director. I love working with Rebecca. And the reason why I like working with Rebecca is because she knows how to delegate authority on set, which is something you don't get that much with directors that, maybe have like, a real specific vision, or, maybe they just want more control over everything. And Rebecca allowed me, delegated authority to me to do what I needed to do, and we were able to accomplish some really cool effects. There's an effect that is an homage to the original arrow coming through the neck in the original Friday 13th. I'm not going to say what it is, but we did it a whole kind of different way. It's even more amazing. It's just a great. We really did it really great. So that's in there. What else I got here? The Barn 2 is out right now. The Barn 2 is getting ready to be released. It's making
No, that had Linnea Quigley in it. What did it not?
Yes, and Ari Lehman as well, and Lloyd Kaufman, and Doug Bradley, and Joe Bob Briggs, and a couple of other name talent, and me. And yeah, that was a great film to work on. Justin Seaman and Zane Hirschberger, the director of photography. These are two guys who are a great team, and they really know how to take their filmmaking to the next level using the tools that they have. And also, once again, Justin is one of these directors that really knows how to delegate authority to the artisans he has to work with, as opposed to like I found that a lot of directors have a really tight hold on what they want, right, and what they need sometimes, and that's great. But sometimes you hire like someone like myself with 40 years experience, and it's good to go ahead and delegate authority to that person and allow them to do what they do best. And sometimes I tell directors, if I give you exactly what you want, you'll be missing out. And so Justin's one of these directors. He's like, just go for it, Joe. And we were able to make some amazing. I turned like 24 people into these demonic zombies, and then they all had to be killed on camera, or these horrific deaths. And then, of course, Justin honored me by allowing me to create the 3 lead villains from the original film, from the original Barn, which is one of my favorite cult movies. The original Barn came out, I believe it was 2015, and like instantly when I saw it, I was like, wow, someone really did a really good job, pour their heart and soul into this. So they made the sequel, and it's coming out. I know they're pre-ordering copies now, and I think the DVD will be released by the end of the month. But you can pre-order and purchase the copy now, and it's just pure entertainment from beginning to end. And I love what they did with the film. What else do I got here? The Beast Comes at Midnight. Have you
Why
heard of that?
midnight? Why midnight? Why not
Beast,
maybe 12:01?
the Beast Comes at Midnight. I think this is, first of all, this film is a direct homage to werewolf movies from the 80s, but it's also a family film. It's also like a kid's film, and there's blood and there's some kills in it, but like kids today can watch Freddy Krueger hack people up and it's okay. Back in the 80s, kids couldn't watch that, or weren't supposed to watch that. So what this film would probably have been PG-13 back in the day, but it's a kid's film, and stars Michael Pare and Eric Roberts, and it's just pure fun, pure entertainment from beginning to end. There's no fluff in the movie. It has a great story. It's the kind of film you could watch with like your 5-year-old, or your 10-year-old, and it would be fun. The whole family can watch it. Then this was made by a very talented group of people out in Florida, and I got to be the werewolf in the movie, and I get to be the man that turns into the werewolf, and I got to create the werewolf for the film. So once again, it was a real honor.
Did you go through agony like David Naughton?
I did. There is a sequence where I did. So it's Todd Oifer and Ed McEver were the executive producers on the film, and Christopher Jackson directed the movie, a very talented young director to be on the lookout for. And if you get a chance to watch The Beast Comes at Midnight, if you have kids and you want to watch something and you have the whole family over, it would be a good Halloween movie to watch. Yeah.
Okay.
What else is here? Just taking a look at what else I got here on the.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question that Tom Savini's been asked a few times. He was asked, what his favorite effect he ever did was, and he said, of course, the creature, from Creepshow,
The Crate.
and yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have a favorite creation?
That's a good one. Wow, the werewolf and the Beast Comes at Midnight was pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of that. If you go to my Facebook page, it's right at the top of my billboard picture, and I'm pretty proud of that. But each thing I make, I kind of feel like I just started. Even though I've been doing this for 40 years, I kind of feel like I've just started this whole adventure just a few years ago. So I feel like I got another 40 years left in me. So to pick one from my past career, I've done so many things, so many kills. It would be hard to pick one. But there's a scene in a movie that I directed and produced with my husband Steven Escobar, and it's called from a movie called the Summer of Massacre. And in the movie, a girl is on a camp out with her friends, and they've all been murdered. And she comes back to camp to find them all dead. And one of them is laying in a campfire. He's naked. He's butt naked, and his head's laying in a campfire. And she rolls him out of the campfire, and half of his head is burned away. And it's just a very effective shot. And it's done with part practical, part digital. And it's probably my favorite death I've ever done. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Now, you worked with many, many, many people, who are your most memorable actors that you've ever worked on?
That's a great question. That's a good question. Right off the top, I'm gonna have to say Brink Stevens. Brink is this kind of woman that is just, when she's on set, she uses, I call it star power, because stars have power. They have the power to make other people feel amazing, and she uses her star power for good. She uses her star power to make other people feel amazing, feel a part of. She makes other people feel talented and noticed. And Brink is this woman who's just been in every area of my life. She's influenced me so much. And I could also say the same about Felissa Rose, Linnea Quigley, Debbie Brashon, Devaney Pinn, Sarah French. These women who are screen queens and people that work regularly in the industry. I respect them so much because they share so much love on and off the set in ways that make the world a better place. I mean, that's just putting it bluntly. They really do. They make the world a better place. And of course, the male actors too. I mean, I'm not going to leave them out. People like Lance Erickson and Henriksen and Ari Lehman and who else can I think of? There's so many. Of course, they're all gonna when I see them next time. Even Vince Ward from The Walking Dead is a total gentleman on set. I love working with him. But yeah, I mean, you can go on and on and on. I mean, I've come in contact with a lot of people that have done some amazing things and make people feel amazing with their star power.
I met Felissa Rose at Frightmare in the Falls last year, and what a doll. She was on the whole weekend. She knows how to do these things. I haven't yet coordinated getting her on here yet, but it's in the works, but she was absolutely wonderful.
She's a total sweetheart, and I love working with her. Every time anytime I can be with her on set or work with her, collaborate with her, I always know I'm in the right place.
Yeah, and of course, Brink Stevens I've never had on here. That never had that work out. So
okay. Well, hopefully that you'll be able to make that happen because she's a gem. She is really Hollywood horror royalty, and she's at the top of the list. I can't say enough good things about her. But besides that, that's just like the actresses kind of portion. But I mean, there have been people I've worked with that were amazing, directors, like Herschel Gordon Lewis, and working with Forrest J. Ackerman. I don't know if I mentioned it the last time I was on your show. Do you know who Forrest J. Ackerman is?
I know the name, but right now nothing comes to mind in terms of what he's done.
Yeah, Forrest J. Ackerman is the reason why you and I are having this conversation. Forrest J. Ackerman is the man who coined the phrase sci-fi. He was the very first horror sci-fi groupie ever. This was back when they were actually shooting Dracula at Universal. And he would literally sneak on the back lot onto set to meet the name talent of these movies. And he created the very first horror sci-fi magazine for fans called Famous Monsters of Filmland. You've heard of that magazine, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was Forey. And Forey was the man who actually introduced me to Brink. And Forey was actually the star of my very first feature film back in 1993, title ceremony. And that man, I don't want his name to ever be forgotten. He's done. I mean, you can talk to Joe Dante and Stephen King and George Romero's passed on. But you can talk to any of these other men, Joe Dante, who directed American Werewolf in London, who directed American Werewolf in London,
John Landis.
And these are the men that grew up reading this magazine. Steven Spielberg. These are the men that grew up reading Famous Monsters of Filmland, and he promoted and started their careers in this magazine.
Wow. Okay. Do you have a project that was I shouldn't say difficult, but your biggest challenge on any effect you've ever done?
That's a good question. The projects that I've had that have been very difficult were always my own projects, because they're all, like, for instance, with the original Terratoon series, I made the first movie in 3 days back in 2001, and we just finished part 4. It took me 10 years to do part 4. It's just, because life happens, and when you're doing your own pet project, life happens. And I shot stuff 10 years ago that I'm just now doing digital effects on today.
Mm-hmm.
The quality of the cameras were different. I'm in a different place, professionally. Of course, I have more skills today than I did then, so I'm able to use what I shot then in a more profound way. But ultimately, I kind of feel like I'm beyond that. So it's difficult. That's difficult. It's difficult to like go ahead and implement what I wanted to do then. 10 years later, now that I've grown up and maybe my ideas have matured a little more. And there's some stuff in Terror Tunes 4 that I probably never would have done today. But I'm kind of grateful that I did it 10 years ago, because I wouldn't have I would have been too, maybe, I don't know, too, what's the word? I would have been a party pooper to do it today. How about that? I had some
Mm-hmm.
crazy scandalous stuff I did back then. But ultimately, no, I work when I work with the directors on their films and create special effects. I'm very open with them, and we discuss how it should be executed, and I make sure they get just what they need. Yeah.
Wow. Do you ever get to do the convention scene?
I did the convention scene back in the like mid to the late early 2000s, 2005 to 2010. And what I found was it was it just didn't really further my skills.
No.
And it didn't further my skills as a special effects artist. I as a special effects artist, I need to be studying, and I need to remain teachable, and I need to be working. So I mean, even like during the pandemic, I took classes with some major special effects artists here in Hollywood that were not working because the pandemic was happening, and some of these men allowed me to come and be with them while they were sculpting and creating, and learn from them. So that's what's more important to me at this time, is just to hone my craft and become the artisan that people remember for their art, and people will come and go, and talent will come and go, name talent will come and go. I want to be able to have those pieces of art, those memories, special effects memories in cinema that people remember, so I think that's where my name will remain in cinema, is by the quality of the things I create.
Now, are you gonna be like Tom Savini and have a house full of creatures and dolls and figurines?
I, if you could see, I like, if you could see the background where I'm at right now, it's just covered in special effects stuff.
Yeah, I
It's
just see blackness behind you.
yeah, I know. That's why I don't turn it off. There's like pig heads right here next to me, and if I lean it here, there he is.
There you go.
There's a pig head over there. There's a ape head behind me. I have a whole bunch of the chemicals right here on my I've got glues right here on my desktop. Here's some eyeballs right there. And I live in it. I live, breathe, and eat it. Here's some I got a package of ball caps right here on my desk. Yeah, everything, right. I'm surrounded by it. It's kind of
Now,
always like closing in on me. The material.
now, have you ever done,
Mold release 2000.
there you go.
Yeah,
Have you ever done a special effect that looking back you're disappointed in, that you wish you could have done better?
absolutely. I mean, I'm human.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Yeah, absolutely. You
Mhm.
always get one. There's always one that comes up. It's like the ebb and flow of life, or the moon, or the stars, right? I mean, we're
Mhm.
human. We can't always please everybody. We can't always please ourselves. And there's always something, there's always something. Oh, I wish I would have given another minute, or I wish I would have had a second pair of eyes there to say, hey, Joe, look at that. Or, absolutely. I wish I had more time. I wish I would have done a little more research before I did this. I know that like when directors do their first edit of the film, like
Mhm.
I like to put it aside and come back to it a month later and take a look at it. And really, you can really see the flaws, and like what needs to be trimmed, where it can be tightened, this kind of thing. It would be great if you could do that with special effects. But unfortunately, especially on low budget films, it's like, I need an hour to do it. You got 10 minutes. One time, someone asked me, Joe, how much time do you need to do this sequence where this guy melts on camera? I'll say, well, I'm going to do it in a couple of different stages. I brought some appliances I'm going to glue on, and then I'm going to bring in this fake head, and we're going to put some rubber on it. We're gonna make it grip. How about 2 hours? Will 2 hours be okay? Sure, you got it. We eat lunch, and then after lunch, we're supposed to shoot it. Joe, you only got 15 minutes. The actor wants to leave. So what do? I go to the craft service table and I grab coffee and salad dressing and pieces of mashed potato, and I start making all these different bowls of junk. And I'm like, we're just gonna pour this on his head, and I'm gonna use spray glue and slap the appliances on his face as fast as we can. And we got 15 minutes. We literally had 15 minutes to do it. The actor wanted to get out of there, and this was on a big budget film too. Like it was million big budget for me, $1 million. For a micro budget horror film, $1 million is big budget. And the actor, what can you do if the actor wants to be a big pain in the ass?
Oh, who was it? Come on. Who was it?
I don't even remember the guy's name. I know who it is, but I don't remember his name.
Folks, I'm trying to get him to say it was James Balsamo.
So no, this was on a fairly large size film, but after I shot the sequence, after 15 minutes to do it, the director and the producer came over to me and said, "Thank you, Joe. That worked perfectly, and only you could have accomplished that in such a little time."
Mm-hmm.
So, I wish I would have had more time to do it, but.
Well, you know what? That couldn't be helped. Well, it could have been if the actor had complied, but.
And then there are other times where like the director just waits till the last minute to do the gore shot. And one time I was going to do a scene in this movie called Amityville Harvest, where the Eileen Dietz bites off this girl's face, and they saved it for the last shot of the film. And we were shooting on location at a rental place here in Hollywood, and they were like, "We have to be out of the gate." They had these gates to this place where we were staying. Like, you have to be out of the gates by midnight. If you're not out of the gates, they're going to charge you for a full other day. It's like $5,000 per day. And so they're like, "Joe, I don't think we can do it." I'm like, "I've been waiting here all night long. Can you do it in 2 minutes?" I was like, "Put them in front of the camera and I'll come and do it right there." So I was like literally doing the makeup effects as they were doing the lighting and all that. Sometimes it's just the way it is.
Well, you got to work with Eileen. She's awesome.
She's awesome. Love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a real winner and a real go-getter, and someone that I aspire to be like and be around. And she's made a fun life out of doing this. And if we're not doing it for fun, then why are we doing it? When are you going to come down here so we can put blood on you, Greg? Come on. Yeah, next one. I'm going to send you a message. You would come down and hang out and be in a film. That'd be great. You'd be great on camera. You got a great.
Yeah. If you've seen my work with the footage I sent to James Balsamo, I can be entertaining, but good? No.
Well, a good director will be able to give you the direction that you need in order to get the
Oh, I'm not an actor. Like with James Balsamo, I can laugh at that, because it's the kind of film that he does, With a serious film, I would screw that up in a heartbeat.
You never know. You never know. Also, some of these major actors that you see in Hollywood films, they're terrible actors. The editors really make their performances. We shot a movie in Texas, and one of the lead performances was somebody who had never acted a day in his life, and we literally fed him the lines one by one. So we would read the line, he would say the line, give him the next line, and my partner, who is an Emmy award-winning editor, was able to put the scene together. It's one of the most memorable performances in the entire movie. So, yeah.
There you go.
Make it happen. We can make it happen, Greg.
I don't know. I was going to be in It Wants Blood too, because James got Weird Al Yankovic in it, but it's kind of like I can't afford to do that stuff right now. I'm got a con coming up in Niagara Falls I'm going to go do, and I work at the hospital here, so I'm making some good money, but I haven't gotten involved in a project for a long time. I get asked a lot, but it's like, yeah, I just can't, You know, I mean, I was happy to be part of this, you know.
That's a cult film. That's going to be a very memorable movie. I like that movie. It has heart.
Hmm.
It has heart and soul. And I told Bill and James, you made what you made with something special, just special little movie. I love it. And
Yeah.
the audience loved it. I was able to be at the premiere here in Hollywood, and it was a sweet little movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you know, my name's on 13 Fanboy, you know, but
Okay.
which is a film I think was marketed poorly because they're just going around to random theaters here and there to push it out there. And I'm like, didn't play here in Canada at all. Like, I don't want to watch something streaming. I want to see it on the big screen with an audience. You know, I want to experience the film.
Yeah, that's a great way to watch a horror film in a
Yep.
theater with other people yelling at the screen, harassing the cast on screen, this kind of thing. I used to be a party pooper and like, shh, quiet, and now I'm like, I need that. I need that connection in the movie theater with other people when we're watching a horror film. It's great. And I was we saw the um the first Annabelle movie in the theater on Halloween night here in Hollywood when it was released. What was that, like 7 years ago, 8 years ago?
Hmm.
And there was this like Latino street gang behind us watching the movie. And there's that shot in the movie where she's walking in the stairway, and the demon is crawling on the ceiling, and it looks, they put the flashlight up and they see the demon go, like that. And the gangbanger behind me screamed like a woman. He was so like terrified. Hi! It was hilarious. Where else are you gonna get that? So
Exactly. Exactly. You got anything else you want to plug before I let you go back to mutilating things too?
I just want to say, hey, look, if you're out there and you love independent films, two things I want to bring up. One is a Facebook group that I run. It's called Movie Distributors to Stay Away From and Why. And
Oh, yes.
if you're an independent filmmaker, I want you to come and join this group. You must fill out all 4 membership questions in order to join the group. People that don't fill out any of the membership questions, I just deny their request to join the group.
Hmm.
But it's a very important group because we share actual first-hand real world experiences about having your movie distributed. And we have a list of distributors to look out for, to watch, because a lot of these movie distributors these days practice very shady practices, business techniques, in order to acquire your movie independent film and rip you off, and you'll never get paid a penny for your film. And the truth is that all these distributors are living high on the hog off the distribution of the film. People say it's harder than ever now to make money from distribution, but that's not true for them. There are new streaming services opening every day. There are
Hmm.
new streaming platforms every day. Why? Because there are almost 8 billion people on this planet, and people watch streaming every day, and they're making lots of money doing it. It's
Yep.
easier now more than ever to make money from your film. It's not the other way around. They want you to believe that it's harder when it's actually easier. So come join my Facebook group, Movie Distributors to Stay Away From and Why. Also, you can reach me on, we're going to plug my social media now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, here we go. Come say hello to me at facebook.com/joe.castro. Send me a message. Let's make a movie. Also, my Instagram is Joe_Castro_director. And let's see if we can get Greg to come down and be in a movie in Hollywood. Put him on a plane and get him down here.
I'll tell you what. Get me in a nice romantic scene with Emma Stone, and
Okay, then you'll come down for that.
if you got the money to pay her,
Well,
that
maybe,
I that
yeah,
might make me do it.
maybe come down and it would be great. I still want to do a movie with Brink and Michelle Bauer and Linnea and all the Scream Queens, Felissa and Debbie Rashawn and Sarah and Devony and Monique Parent and all of the amazing Eileen. Put Eileen in it. Can you imagine a movie with all of them in it? That would be great. That might be one of the next things I do. Kind of get all those women together. I don't really talk to anybody in my family anymore, and my mom's still alive, but we have a very, very trying relationship. But these women have become like my family. to me. These women have become my sisters and my mother's support, my motherly support, and my best friends, and I just love them to death. I wouldn't be where I am without them in my life. And of course, I got to give a shout out to my husband, Stephen Escobar. Without him, I wouldn't be able to have all the amazing things I have and have the studio and be able to do all the things we do. So, yeah.
That group about the studios and whatnot, distributors, have you ever had any backlash over that?
Well, I know that people have tried to get the group shut down.
Yeah.
And it's a very controversial group because it's very, very sensitive subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is that we are protected by, the laws of the United States. You can have a private club where you can talk about anything you want in that private club. No one's forcing you to be in that club. You can leave the club at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gives us permission to discuss and say anything we want in the group. And that's kind of it's hard for people to believe, but it's true. And people have tried to shut the group down, but they can't do it because we're not doing anything wrong in the group. We've done nothing wrong. And I try to keep everything on topic, and I'm very, very specific about it. And I think a lot of people respect the group because of that. And recently I was out at a premiere last week, and someone that's in the group who I'd never met and didn't even know saw me from across the room at the premiere and walked over to me and said, he introduced himself. And he said, I just want to let you know, I love everything you're doing with the group. It's been very helpful. And he says, I noticed that a lot of people don't actually respond to the posts that are made, but I want you to know that everybody's listening and I'm listening. And he says, what you're really doing is you're changing the conversation about what these independent filmmakers need to be thinking about when they can. They're moving to a movie distributor. And I've had a lot of people send me private messages, thanking me for the service that we do. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. What I'm trying to do is tell your audience that the group does work, and it is actually making a severe change in how we represent ourselves as independent filmmakers to these money mongering distributors that are ripping us off.
You know what it reminds me of? I had a situation very similar with 13 Fanboy, where there was some, I guess some screenshots were sent to me regarding some comments that were being made about me, unbeknownst to me.
Yeah.
And they're angry because somebody told me, and I responded very harshly. And I'm like, I guess the mentality I'm getting is that I'm supposed to let people not only kick me down, but kick me while I'm down. I'm
No.
sorry, you don't do that.
Yeah, you didn't grow up to be you're not working as hard as you're working, especially with what you do for the community by allowing us to basically, to talk about ourselves. I mean, you should be honored. You're not here to be a doormat. You're not a doormat, and you don't
Yeah.
need. And you should be respected for giving us a platform to showcase our work. And for that, I'm very appreciative and very grateful to you, Greg.
Yep. Nope. I'm quite happy to do this and have you come on here and talk about what you're making and what you're mutilating.
Right on. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna
Listen,
check out the Mutilator. I'm gonna have to do that.
watch it. It's probably not as gory as like for today's standards, but
Uh-huh.
in 1984, it was a very controversial movie, and it was originally titled Fall Break. So you might find it either under the name Fall Break or The Mutilator. And I think even though it's released as The Mutilator, it still has the title Fall Break on the movie when you watch it.
Okay.
So give it a
Okay.
watch. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about it.
I'll do that. I'll do that. It was great to have you come on here today and talk about this, and I'm always happy to have you on, and I'll have you back on next year again, and we can talk about the stuff you weren't allowed to talk about this time.
Yeah. And
We'll
hopefully the Mutilator will be out by then. I shot a lot of videos, behind the scene video stuff of the special effects that hopefully it won't be heavily trimmed. I mean, there's some really gory stuff in it. Hopefully it won't be heavily trimmed. And if it is heavily trimmed, then I'll be able maybe to show it on the show. And I'll maybe be able to like show people with a little bit more what I built, because I built a whole bunch of stuff for it. So listen, brother, I appreciate you very much. Happy Halloween season.
Listen, are you going to dress up as James Balsamo for Halloween and go door to door? Because that would be a scary costume.
You know what I always tell people what I'm going to be? I'm going to be my, what is it called? My doppelganger, an extension of myself. You know, it's just going to be an extension of myself. Basically, my doppelganger. Yeah. I'm always my, you know, I dress up as the part of me that is not allowed to come out until Halloween. And now you know what I'm talking about when you see my Halloween pictures.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Joe? It's always great to have you on. Would you mind doing a plug for my show before I let you go?
Absolutely. How you tell me what you want me to say?
Just state your name and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Hello, it's Joe Castro's Hollywood special effects artist here, and you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's
Paradise.
Python's Paradise. Once again, here we go. Hey everybody, this is Joe Castro, Hollywood special effects artist, and you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Yes, and folks, watch out Halloween night. If you see James Balsamo go to your door, it might be Joe Castro. I'm just assuming you're going to dress up like him.
Give James all my love if you talk to him, and I think I'm going to see James tomorrow night.
Uh-oh. Are you ready for that?
I'll send you a video. I'll send you a video.
Are you ready for James? Are you ready?
James literally lives like, I'm not even kidding, probably a mile from my house.
He lives in your basement, doesn't he?
Practically. No, he lives very close. He lives very close. So
do you ever walk up and ring his doorbell and then run away?
No. But,
look at the ideas I'm giving you. What a bad human being I am.
So, but anyhow, all right, brother, be good. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Call or text anytime. All right.
Absolutely, man. You take care. God bless. It's wonderful talking to you.
All right, Greg. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.